Today we're diving into something that's perfect for those seeking comfort and stability. It's the Velotric Triker. While the name might not be that unique, the features are at a time when it seems like every e-bike maker is making an electric trike. It's got a 180-degree stem, beginner mode, an insanely loud horn, Comfort Max for seniors. We'll see what that's all about. You can switch between the torque sensor or the cadence sensor. Don't worry, I'll explain what that all means. You have full control over the top speed. The backrest is adjustable, and that's just a few of the features. In this full review, I'll walk you through all the components, tell you everything you need to know. Then I'll get into some first-person riding footage. We'll see how those sensors perform. We'll test out the motor up our large hill climb test, and talk about the other things that make electric trikes unique from a riding perspective. And I'll wrap things up with the pros and cons of the Velotric Triker. But first, let's take a closer look. I'm Ryan from Ebike Escape, and I've been reviewing electric trikes for years, really since they became popular on the market. And now Velotric has their own. What makes them unique? Well, they have 1,000 plus bike shop partners here in the United States. And if you decide to buy any Velotric e-bike, you can support the channel for free by using our link down in the description before you make your purchase, or scan the QR code on your screen. Or if you buy this in store, just email me your receipt. That way I know that people are interested in electric trikes like this. And we've reviewed every Velotric e-bike, so there's a good chance that there's a discount code down in the description as well in case you decide to pick up one of their other models. Current pricing is $23.99. It comes in 3 colors. This is the cherry crimson, also offered in pearl white and electric blue. Total payload capacity is 500 pounds. You can put 120 pounds on the rear rack. It weighs in at just shy of 86 pounds. The entire bike is IPX6 rated, and Velotric says it fits riders 4'10" up to 6'5". I'm 6 feet tall with a 32-inch inseam. Note the steep seat tube angle. That means your feet are more in front of you for a more comfortable ride. Accessibility is really at the core of this electric trike, and that also goes with the step-through height, about 14.5 inches right here. Very easy to get your leg over. And I didn't even mention that the Triker folds. We'll do that towards the end of the walk around. Let's dive into all the specs. All the tires are 20 by 3 inches wide. They come from Kenda, checkerboard pattern. You get metal fenders in the front and rear. There's front and rear hydraulic disc brakes paired with 180 millimeter rotors. That's how it looks in the rear, and there is a plastic guard on there as well. It's a hydraulic suspension fork from Trauma. It offers 80 millimeters of travel. This is what you can expect. Preload adjustment on the left, lockout on the right, either open or closed. The 4-bolt pattern on the head tube allows for mounting the front basket. There's the handlebar folding mechanism. The front light runs off the main battery. It's 500 lumens. You can set for it to automatically turn on when it's dark. And in the rear, a running light. The brakes make it go brighter. And we have large turn signals as well. There's some additional settings for the rear light that I'll talk about in a bit. Moving to the handlebars, love these swept-back handlebars. They really allow a lot of customization. But to go along with that, we have a 180-degree adjustable stem, so I could put these even more out in front of me, or if I wanted to, all the way back. On the stem here, we have 2 mounting points that we don't often see. You could put a bottle cage mount here if you wanted to. The bike comes with these mirrors, both for the left and right. A little bit of distortion on these. I prefer the ones that we sell over at shop.ebikeescape.com. There's ergonomic locking rubber grips, hydraulic disc brake levers with parking brakes. To engage, pull the lever and use your index finger on this little tab. That will lock the front. Same thing on the rear. This trike has gears 7 speeds with Shimano's trigger shifter. You also get a bell and a left-hand thumb throttle. Moving on to the display and the controls, Velotric has among the easiest to use controls and a massive display power button on top. In the top left-hand corner, we have battery capacity. There's a light indicator here. You can manually turn them on by holding pedal assist up, and now the indicator is on. Below that, we have the horn indicator. The horn button is located right here, and we're going to have to turn this down significantly because it is so loud. Here it tells me that the bike is currently in beginner mode, here as well. I'll show you how to change that in a second. Speed front and center. Then we have the pedal assist levels. You can change those with the pedal assist up and down buttons. And turning beginner mode off unlocks 2 more levels of pedal assist, 4 and 5. You can engage walk mode by holding pedal assist down, indicator at the top of the screen. In the bottom, we have trip distance and trip time. You can change what's displayed there by hitting the M button right here. Over to average speed, max speed, calories, CO2 saved, odometer and total time, motor temp and controller temp, and back to trip distance and trip time. Turn signals can be turned on with the left and right button, and there is a sound to let you know that they're on. This is a motor power bar that goes up when you're riding. To get to the advanced settings, hold the M button while the bike is stopped. You navigate this with pedal assist up and down and the left and right turn signals. So first off, we have beginner mode, and you use the M button to make your selection. So you can turn beginner mode off if you want. It will give you a warning. Basically, beginner mode just gives you access to 3 levels of pedal assist and a top speed of 8 miles per hour. I walk you through all of this in the first person riding footage. So we'll turn beginner mode off because in speed limit, it lets you change the top speed while you're pedaling or while just using the throttle, which is really cool. So if you want pedaling to stop at 12, but you want throttle to go up to 20 miles per hour, you can do that. Power button gets you back. Then there's sensor swap. This is where you can switch between the cadence and the torque sensor. I explained this in the first person riding footage, and I also talk about how you can quick swap while you're riding. It will let you know that in cadence sensor mode, your battery consumption will be higher. You can clear your trip data, change your screen brightness. I have it set to auto, but you can just max it out if you'd like. Then we have rear light mode. This gives you different options for how the rear light functions. Auto light lets you change whether you want the lights to automatically turn on when it's dark. Next, auto power off. How long do you want the bike to sit before it automatically powers off? Next, throttle limited, and you can change this with torque mode or cadence mode. Again, more on that in the first person riding footage and what that means. Cruise control, on or off. You can turn the turn signal click on or off. You can change whether you want the horn to be active or not. We'll come back to connect to app, but also this bike has Apple Find My for iPhone users out there. You can set units. There's a sensor calibration setting. And finally, version info. All right, and next the Velotric app. I'm going to add a new bike. Scroll down to Triker, and we will scan the QR code. What's cool about the app is there's additional functionality in there, but if you don't ever want to use it, you don't have to. I'll have to name my trike, call it the EE Triker. So if I click start riding, that's of course going to start a ride. That allows you to track all of your rides over time. It will also tell you your current speed, battery capacity, pedal assist level. So if you tracked a bunch of rides, this is where it would show up over days, weeks, months, and years. In bike settings, this is where you have access to all of the functionality that's within the display. One of the reasons I like the app is it's just quicker to change settings if you want to play around a little bit. So you can toggle beginner mode, change the speed limit while pedaling or while using the throttle. Scrolling down, you have access to sensor swap, though I think there's an easier way to do that, which I'll show you in the first person riding footage. But one thing I will recommend that you do or have someone help you do, connect your bike with your phone and at least make sure that your bike's firmware is up to date, because Velotric can actually improve on this bike, making updates to both the display as well as the controller. If you're curious how the ride tracking looks after you've recorded a ride, here's one that I did when I was back in Florida. And that's it for the Velotric app, display, and controls. Underneath the controls is a USB-C port for charging your device. Moving down, we have 2 more sets of mounting points, plastic pedals, and for sure a highlight is this seat with backrest. This is part of their Comfort Max package. And while this type of seat isn't unique, this one offers a lot of padding, but something I haven't seen is you can adjust the backrest forward or back. That might not sound like a big deal, but I've had tons of people ride electric trikes, and it just depends on your body whether the backrest actually comes in contact with you. And so being able to dial it in just makes it that much more comfortable. There's also a dial on the back to move it up or down. Moving to the battery located behind the seat tube, put the keys in, turn to the right, lift up. There's a nice grab handle. It's a 48 volt, 16.75 amp hour battery. The battery is certified to UL2271. The entire bike's electronics are certified to UL2849. And even more than that, the battery is IPX7 rated, which means you pretty much just don't need to worry about riding in the rain. There's a power button on this side, and this is where you can charge the battery. And you charge it up with this 3 amp charger. That means about 5 to 6 hours to charge it up from empty. They even include this nice wall mount. Ours came with all the tools for assembly. And if you want to keep your expensive e-bike battery protected, you might want to check out one of our battery bags available at shop.ebikeescape.com. They're waterproof and flame resistant. It's a roll top bag, snap into place, and you have a handle. To put the battery back in, simply match up the tabs with the tray and simply push into place. While we're here, let's talk about the motor. 750 watts of nominal power, 1300 watts of peak power, 90 newton meters of torque, and engaged with your choice, the torque sensor or the cadence sensor. There's actually a lot going on here. We have a chain tensioner. This is the differential. And what the differential does is it allows each rear wheel to spin independently. So if I tilt the trike on just the right wheel and hit the throttle, just the left one's going to spin. And likewise on the right, left wheel down, just the right wheel will spin. That just makes electric trikes so much more safe to ride, though I'll talk more about safety as well as some tips in the upcoming first-person riding footage. On the rear, we have 2 reflectors. Velotric not only includes this really nice basket, but also this bag. Tons of storage in here. There's a zipper pocket, 120-pound max capacity, reflective accents. On the other side is where the human power comes into play. It has a Shimano tourney derailleur, again 7 speeds, 11 to 28 teeth in the rear, 40 teeth up front. Let's fold this trike, lift up, pull out. The handlebars can drop down. Then the main folding point, push, pull out. Optional to remove the seat post. We'll move the pedals out of the way and bring the front end around. You might also want to move the mirrors out of the way. And so without the front wheel removed, this is what you can expect. It certainly will fit in some larger SUVs. For transport, it also might be good to put something underneath here to prop the bike up. Certainly be mindful of these cables when you fold it back together. But as we've seen with other electric trikes on the market that have front suspension forks, it can be difficult to get this to sit nicely, though I imagine for most use cases, you're probably just leaving the trike together unless you need to take it into the dealership for maintenance. There is one electric trike bike rack on the market though, so you can check that out. With that, let's put the trike back together and get into some first-person riding footage where I'll give you a bunch of tips related to electric trikes, and we'll see how this one performs. There are a lot of settings to go through, but let's start where I think most people should start, and that's going to be beginner mode. I think Velotric did an amazing job the way they allowed the customization and how the throttle responds. Let me show you why. So right now in beginner mode, top speed is going to be 8 miles per hour. I have it in pedal assist level 1, and that will impact how the throttle functions. I'll talk a little bit more about that when I do the top speed run and throttle limited. But here is beginner mode on the Velotric Triker. Here we go, throttle only. And just a little bit of power backs off, holding me right at 6 miles an hour. I really view electric trikes as mobility devices. These are made for people who couldn't perhaps otherwise ride an electric bike. And because of the unique handling characteristics, which I'll talk about a little bit later, these are really meant for slower speeds. You're not going to be breaking any records on an electric trike, speed-wise at least. But if I go into pedal assist level 2 and then hold the throttle, I'm going to go a little bit faster, 7 miles an hour, and it's just going to hold me there. And beginner mode does limit the number of pedal assist levels to 3. So let's go up to pedal assist level 3, and we are going to get to the top speed of 8 miles per hour. And I just love that it keeps things so accessible for someone new to electric trikes. Something like this can be intimidating for a lot of people. So I think it's so important to have it really accessible. Let's keep talking beginner mode, and let's go through the various pedal assist levels. We'll start with the cadence sensor. Now, what a cadence sensor does is, as long as it can sense that I'm pedaling, it's going to give me power from the motor. And that's just going to depend on the pedal assist level. It has nothing to do with my pedal input. The torque sensor is where that comes in. Remember, this has both. So with the torque sensor, the more effort that I put in, the motor is going to give me more power, kind of rewards you, if you will. But let's start off in the cadence sensor. A big thing with this trike is we do have 7 speeds, so I can go all the way down to first gear to make it as easy as possible on this trike to get started. But just know that yes, I do have the throttle. I can start that way as well, which might work for you. But let's pedal here. About a quarter turn maybe, and that motor engages. And again, I can spin my legs just nice and easy. I'm gonna get power from the motor, and it's holding me at 6 miles per hour. I could shift up if I wanted to make it a little bit more difficult on myself. And again, I can pedal all I want, and I might get a little higher than 6 miles an hour, but certainly not much because it's just human power. The motor is indeed cutting off at that 6 miles per hour mark. All right, let's go into pedal assist level 2 with the cadence sensor. And as expected, this is also speed limited to 7 miles per hour. So the motor is only going to kick on when I get below that 7 mile per hour mark. And again, nice and easy, second gear. Let's go into pedal assist level 3. And I could see getting a little bit more power from the motor. And again, just very easy to hold me at 8 miles per hour. Now, if I wanted to use that torque sensor, I really like sensor swap, but I like it even more that you can hot swap it. If I just hold the M button while I'm moving, there we go, torque sensor. Let's shift all the way down. Let's see how the torque sensor performs in beginner mode. I have a feeling though that the differences between the cadence and the torque sensor is going to be a little bit more apparent at higher speeds. All right, torque sensor, pedal assist level 1. So extremely fast engagement still. And I'm just gonna pedal nice and easy. And it looks like we're still going to get to that 6 mile per hour. So not super difficult to put in enough power with my legs to hit the max speed that pedal assist level 1, 2 are set to. And I'm assuming 3 as well. Let's try that. Pedal assist level 3. Let's shift up to second gear. All right, maybe had to put in a little bit more, but certainly not much at 8 miles per hour. So that is beginner mode. Super easy. You can just spin your legs, you can shift up. It's speed limited. Love it. So now let's turn off beginner mode. Now by default, the top speed is set to 12 miles per hour. I actually think that's a really good top speed for an electric trike, though you can go higher in this one, and don't worry, we will get there. And now that beginner mode is off, we have access to 2 more levels of pedal assist levels 4 and 5. Going back to cadence sensor, pedal assist level 1. And again, nice and easy. Does look like the top speed is going to be 6 miles per hour still. In pedal assist level 1, let's go to 2. Shift up to second gear. Holding us at 7. Let's go in pedal assist level 3. Getting a little bit faster here. I'm going to shift up into third gear. And again, as long as I'm spinning the legs, I'm going to get power from the motor depending on the pedal assist level. So now cruising at 9 miles an hour, that looks like the top speed in pedal assist level 3. Let's go into pedal assist level 4. Hitting 10 miles an hour, I could shift up so I can provide some leg effort. But I could just spin my legs for looks and still be held at 10 miles an hour. Still getting those legs moving though, which is nice. And then pedal assist level 5, undoubtedly going to get me to 12 miles per hour, which is the current top speed. All right, moving to torque sensor, pedal assist level 1, nice and easy. Let's shift up to third gear. All right, and it looks like we're going to be able to go a little bit faster in torque sensor mode. If I put a little bit more power on my legs here, I'm getting more power from the motor, hitting 10 miles an hour. So that's where the cadence and the torque sensor differ a little bit here. Let's go up to pedal assist level 2. Again, nice and easy, 9 miles an hour, and then more power from my legs. Going to hit that 12 mile per hour mark, according to the display. And then, of course, you have access to 3 more levels of pedal assist. They're just going to accelerate you a little bit faster up to that top speed. Let's go into torque pedal assist level 5. Let's see how this feels. And yeah, very quick engagement. Let's see if we hit 12 miles per hour on a leisurely cadence. Looks like 10 miles an hour. So that's a great example of torque versus cadence. On the higher pedal assist levels, you're just going to hit those top speeds easier on cadence sensor mode. You just have to work for it a little bit more on the torque sensor. Not that it's that much. Let's test it out here. All right, 3rd gear, 4th gear, and I hit 12, 13 miles an hour. It's still a cadence I could do for a long time. So the torque sensor, while is measuring your pedal input, it's still easy or relatively easy to still get more power from the motor. All right, for those who want to see it, this does have a top speed of 20 miles per hour, whether you're pedaling or using the throttle. Not that I recommend it. All right, top speed is set to 20. And remember, I mentioned the throttle limited setting. So right now, I have cadence mode set to throttle limited turned on, which means if I use the throttle, I'm going to get power from the motor up to a predetermined speed. It looks like 10 miles an hour, and it's going to hold me there. Now that's in comparison to if I go to the torque sensor, which I just hot swapped to, and I use the throttle. The throttle is not limited in the first level of pedal assist. So I'm able to hit the 20 mile per hour mark. All right, let's do a throttle only up to 20, and then we'll do a brake test as well. Here we go, 3, 2, 1, throttle only. It's a decent amount of power coming from the rear. You can feel it. 17, 18, and there's 20 miles an hour. Now, this is where you definitely don't want to take any turns at a high speed. You want to slow down. Let's stop at this crossing sign here, test out these brakes. All right, you got lots of tires on the pavement, so no problem stopping you with these hydraulic disc brakes. They perform really well. All right, and in case you're curious, pedaling wise, we're in cadence sensor mode. Let's go up into pedal assist level 4. And yeah, it's giving me tons of power from the motor. It's going to hold me at 20 very easily. Let's go up to pedal assist level 5. This thing has a ton of power, and I can shift up. So in 7th gear, the pedaling cadence certainly is a little faster, but I'm not anywhere near ghost pedaling. I can still provide pedal pressure. Swapping to the torque sensor, let's see how easy it is to go at 20. Pedal assist level 1 right now, 3rd gear. All right, and just getting a little more power. Pedal assist level 2, 3, 4. So I can tell it definitely wants me to put more power in to get more power from the motor. So let's shift up to 4th gear, 5th gear. All right, and a little bit more power from my legs. So easy to cruise around 14, 15 miles an hour. Let's go into pedal assist level 5. Shift up to 6th gear, getting close to 7th. So in pedal assist level 5 with the torque sensor, 7th gear, easily cruising at 17 miles per hour, though it's going to want me to work just a little bit more to 20. And there we go. I can hear the motor engaging with that increased pressure from my legs. And there's 20 miles per hour. And another feature that this bike has that might be interesting to you is it has cruise control. So you need to enable that within the display. But then when I'm riding, just moving, I can hold the top button or the power button on the display, and then I get a little cruise control button on the display. I set it to around 7 miles an hour, and yes, I can pedal past this, but the motor's not going to help me until it drops below 7 miles per hour. Now, of course, hitting the brakes will disengage cruise control, as will changing your pedal assist level. So it's there if you want it. let's talk about comfort and handling. Love the swept-back handlebars, the adjustable stem. I'm just in a great riding position. That is only aided by the comfortable seat and the backrest, which I was able to make touch my back, even though I'm a smaller rider. So that adds additional comfort. Love the ergonomic grips as well. It's nice to have the front suspension, especially as I was going over some of these sidewalks. Just helps take a little bit of the edge off the front end, though you also don't have a ton of pressure on the handlebars because inherently you're in an upright riding position. And if you've ever ridden a bike with a pedal forward design, that just means it's really easy to pedal, puts you in a nice riding position. And they did do a nice job too with the saddle choice. I feel a little bit of rubbing on the bottom of my leg, but that's just going to depend on everyone's body. And I imagine most people will take the trade-off. Now, trikes have some unique handling characteristics because they have 2 rear wheels. Now that means on any slanted terrain, the bike's going to kind of want to throw you off one way. So you need to kind of adjust your weight a little bit. So that's something to more be mindful of, something you get used to after you ride an electric trike, especially if you're only used to riding an electric bicycle or a 2-wheeled bike. The riding experience is quite a bit different. That also means that when you're, say, going over sidewalks, it can be a little bit uneven. Like here. One thing on this bike that I've noticed is I can take sharp turns like this one here. I'm going to slow down again, take turns slow. And I do have a pretty sharp turning radius. Now on some trikes, you're literally able to keep the rear tire in one place and do a 360 with that inner wheel not moving. And you can't quite do it here, but yes, you still have an extremely tight turning radius, so I don't think there's any concerns there. But for the most part, the important thing is to make sure you're riding at a speed you feel comfortable with. Even at 12 miles an hour, it could be treacherous if you tried to turn really sharp. There is a chance that those rear wheels will pop up. So if you're trying to go at higher speeds, definitely make sure you're going straight and you are in control. And when you're taking turns, make sure you slow down probably more than you need to, and then you can still make those sharp turns. All right, we know this motor is powerful, but just how powerful is it up our hill climb test? Let's get to it. All right, I do have the throttle unlocked. So the top speed is 20 miles per hour, and I'm just going to let the throttle do the work. I'll focus on keeping the handlebars straight, and we will see what the minimum speed is. The GoPro makes this hill look so much smaller than it is, so I'll put up a picture as well as the specs of the hill. I didn't comment on before, the center mounted display is awesome. This is on almost all of their models, I believe, at this point. It's nice and large. You can see your current speed. You can see whether you're using the torque or the cadence sensor. I just really like this display. Very user-friendly. All right, hill starting now. 17, 16, 1,300 watts of peak power. 15. I mean, at this point, it's going to beat some two-wheeled e-bikes up this hill. So I don't think power is going to be a concern on this electric bike, even if you live in an area where there's steep hills. And we are almost to the top. Minimum speed, 15 miles per hour. Very impressive. But this is an electric tricycle, and it has pedals. So let's do it again while pedaling. All right, I turned it to beginner mode because I think there's a good chance that a lot of people will just leave this in beginner mode. And what I'm curious about is, can I be in beginner mode and still make it up a large hill like that? And given what I'm feeling already, I think the answer is going to be yes. So I'm in cadence mode, pedal assist level 1, and I could slow down my cadence. That's one of the beauties of having 7 gears, is that I can shift all the way down to first gear. Of course, I could make it more difficult on myself if I wanted to, but even in first gear, it's just so easy to keep the legs spinning, and then it's only going to go up from here if I go into pedal assist level 3. I am imagining we will hit the top speed of 8 miles per hour or close to it. display reading 7.9, and I could actually shift up here to third gear. It says 8 miles per hour on the Velotric screen. So yeah, no problem. And then let's try torque sensor here. All right, now we're in torque sensor and pedal assist level 3. And this is also a good example of the true difference between a cadence or a torque sensor. I'm going at 5 miles an hour, pedal assist level 3. In cadence sensor mode, I'd be very easily at 8 miles per hour. But with the torque sensor, a nice easy cadence, still at 5 or 6 miles an hour. And then I imagine more leg power, can hear the motor giving me a little bit more motor power, and there's 8 miles an hour. So you can still do it, it's just a little bit more of a workout. And then, yeah, of course, if I stop on the hill here, turn off beginner mode, I'll switch it back over to cadence mode, and yeah, just tons of power, cruising me up to the top speed, could shift up, and there you go, 12 miles per hour. And if I wanted a little bit more of a workout, hot swap over to torque sensor mode. Hills are a great use case for the sensor swap. It's really handy to have. You can see I slowed down quite significantly. Now we're in torque sensor, pedal assist level 5. So any way you want to ride this bike, it is capable of climbing hills. But let's get into some third-person riding footage. I'll give you the pros and cons of the Velotric Triker. Electric trikes are gaining popularity with more options available with different features and, yes, prices. So what makes the Velotric Triker stand out, and what should you consider? Priced at $23.99, it's not the cheapest electric trike, but it offers unique features. A key benefit is Velotric's network of over 1,000 bike shops. While it's unclear how many will actually stock the Triker, visiting a dealer lets you test it and get it pre-assembled. Assembly isn't too difficult otherwise, though more on that later. Customization is for sure a major differentiator here. Choose between the torque sensor or the cadence sensor to suit your preference. Beginner mode simplifies things with 3 pedal assist levels and accessible speeds, while disabling it allows for custom top speed settings. Simply put, the motor handles it all effortlessly. The gears provide control over cadence and effort, unlike single-speed trikes. I appreciate the flexibility, though single-speed simplicity has its merit. I'd love to hear your take on this in the comment section. Would you rather have the simplicity of a single speed or gears to further customize the way you get to ride? The display is a standout, large, intuitive, and easy to use. It's among my favorite screens on any electric bike. Next, comfort is crucial, especially for trikes. The swept-back handlebars and adjustable stem allow for full customization and ensure a comfortable fit for anyone. The cushy seat with an adjustable backrest, up and down and front to back, is a unique touch. The seat post angle is slightly more pronounced than some electric trikes, adding to a more pedal forward design if that's something you prefer. Now, pros and cons. The horn is so loud. Great for alerting drivers, they'll certainly hear it inside their vehicle, but it can be startling if accidentally triggered. A volume adjuster would help here. Next, the fenders, at least on our model, required some bending to avoid tire rubbing, and they don't come pre-installed if you order online. I'd like to see a more polished design on these. The Velotric Triker, like other trikes with suspension, doesn't fold neatly, so keep that in mind. The mirrors feel low quality, though I guess yes, they did include mirrors while most brands don't. Higher quality ones like the ones we sell at shop.ebikeescape.com would certainly be better. Getting into the nitty-gritty here, the parking brakes aren't as refined as some of the competitors, though I want to be clear, they do perform just fine. If you're planning to buy from Velotric, do me one quick favor, use our link in the description or scan the QR code on your screen before purchasing. It's free. If you're buying in store, send me an email with your receipt. Thank you so much for your support. I think Velotric nailed it here. This isn't just a copy of what others have done and been successful with in the electric trike market. It truly offers riders choice in what they want in an electric trike, and I'm always a fan of customers having more choice. Thank you so much for watching until the end, and I will see you in the next one.